Welcome to Red Barn Talks, where stories flow like the stream and the rocks can outtalk me. Hello, I'm Lou, and this is your backstage pass to the incredible Barn family, the soul folk, healers, and seekers behind Red Barn Rocks. Each episode brings you closer to the people rocking the barn with their passions, sharing joy, energy, and a little bit of magic. So come on in the barn. The doors are always open. All right, Lori, we're rolling on Red Barn Talks. This is the start of something new for us. Exciting times. Lori and I have had a great run with Twigs Cafe Radio over the years, talking to mediums, psychics, card readers, conspiracy theorists, you name it. We've had some truly amazing guests. But today, we have two Loris in the studio, and we are kicking off a whole new chapter with Red Barn Talks. And we're starting strong with Lori Knott. Lori, again, welcome. You've got some truly inspiring things happening, and people can check it all out at mypurposedrivesme.com. Well, we're so glad to have you here. Let's kick things off by having you tell everyone a little about yourself and all the great work you're doing through My Purpose Drives Me. This is going to be an inspiring show, I can tell.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks, you guys, for having me on your first episode. I appreciate being here. My name is Lori Knott, and my business is called My Purpose Drives Me. I started that probably 10 years ago when I felt a real deep calling to help people, but I really wasn't sure how I was going to do that. But I knew that was my purpose. So My Purpose Drives Me started off with a simple Facebook group with me just kind of sharing my life experience. And that grew to becoming involved in Reiki and Reiki master. And I connected with a shamanic healer through Periscope. I don't know if you guys remember Periscope. That used to be Twitter's live stream. And long story short, I studied with her for about 8 years, and then 2+ years now of shamanic training under her. And I have developed a passion of sharing my shamanic healing work that I do for people, and also teaching meditation. And my other passion project right now is psychopump work. I love doing psychopump work, and I could talk a little bit more about that. It's kind of like off topic of what this is, but I love to share meditation because I feel like it's so important for us to connect with ourselves because we all have answers within us. It's just how do we connect with ourselves and our soul to kind of tap into that information, tap into that healing energy. And I really have a passion of helping people do that. And I'm excited to do the meditation that's coming up soon, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But in the meantime, I offer meditations twice a month in person, and I'm working on opening my schedule for virtual meditation classes as well. And I have a couple podcasts, and I offer shamanic healing to people that are looking for it, which I
Wow.
can elaborate on that a little bit if you want.
Wow, that's amazing. That is really cool. So you've got your plate full. Where do you do the meditations? Did you say twice a month that you do them?
Yes, I do them twice a month. I practice out of Healing Hands of the Abingtons. It's a massage studio. My friend is gracious enough to lend me the space in her studio, so I do that there twice a month. And what I do is I do shamanic journeys when the students come. So in a nutshell, a shamanic journey is where I guide students to specific places where they connect with an animal guide or a spiritual guide or a loved one. Just the other night, we had meditation. It was such a beautiful ceremony where I guided students to their sacred space in the lower world, where they experienced guides come into their space and offer them some healing. And it was I just love sharing that space and holding that space for them and just watching, oh my gosh, like everything clicks for them. I don't do anything except hold the space. They do all the work.
Wow, that is really interesting. And you said 8 years you studied with this shaman. That
Yeah,
is very cool. Tell me a little bit about the background of her, of your now shamanic, what that looks like. Not the shamanic per se, but what it's based on, I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
for sure. Well, my friend and teacher, pardon me, Jill Lemke is her name.
Okay.
I started connecting with her on Periscope, like I said. She was offering live stream meditations every morning.
Wow.
And we would do that, which grew into, I'm trying to think, they were chakra classes. We would spend 8 weeks going through each chakra. And we did that over and over and over again for 8 years. So through that practice, going through each chakra, I experienced such profound healing in myself. She then opened intuition development classes and then shamanic medicine wheel training.
Oh, yeah.
So I advanced through all of those, and my shamanic training involved going through the medicine wheel, south, west, north, and east. And it was probably the most challenging year and a half for me because we go through this healing wheel, this medicine wheel for our personal healing. And all of the lessons that I learned, I can now then share with others. And I am so excited to do that. She has training in Peruvian and Native American shamanism theories. I am excited. I'm hoping that I can tap into my Celtic roots also. That's my next step. I would like to study Celtic shamanism and weave all of that training together and kind of create my own little spice.
Isn't that interesting? That is so interesting. So tell us about maybe your first experience, because I've said to Lou and others, until you experience something you don't know, it's usually the people that are like, oh, you guys are crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
And then somebody has an experience and that's what changes their point of view or puts them on the path. So what was yours?
Well, I have a couple. My first one was probably when I was 40 years old. I'm 52 now.
Why not? Very good, girlfriend.
Thanks. I'll take that. I'll take it. At 40 years old, I 3 beautiful kids. My day job is a pharmacist, happily married, and I couldn't figure out what was missing in me. Why wasn't I happy? I had all the things, all the boxes checked, right? So I started going to yoga and trying to just improve my physical body. And in yoga, I started seeing colors and visions and like hearing things. And that was my first like leaping off point. That led me to my Reiki training. And then all the doors seemed to keep opening. And out of the blue, I was connecting with Jill on social media, but we weren't like connected. He reached out to me and said, I'm starting a chakra class, and Spirit told me that you need to be in it. And I'm like, I'm in it. And that was the next 8 years of us doing this class. And I eventually started teaching in that class of mindfulness and connection to your soul and yourself and like emotional and anxiety coping techniques. All of these, I'll call them battles that I walked through. I was now sharing with others in the class, and it just made me feel so empowered. So then she started the shamanic training, and she said, I think you'd really be good at this. And I started in the direction of the South. The direction of the South is the energy of the serpent. And just beginning to shed all of those old stories that I was holding on to. And it was like a lightning bolt struck me. I was so profoundly affected by how spirit showed up for me to help me that I was like, wow, I have to help everyone else now. Just to walk through that medicine wheel, it has been so powerful for me. But I think one of the most powerful experiences that I had during my training, there's two, I will say. One, what I was in meditation, and it was a shamanic journey meditation. Archangel Michael came into the meditation and he took me to show me my soul's light in this meditation. I did a podcast on this because it blew my mind. And I bawled my eyes out because I don't think I actually ever saw myself as a being of light. And it just changed everything for me. And then that led into me wanting to do psychopump work, which I can talk about just a little bit if you'd like me to do.
Yeah, please do. It sounds so interesting. So,
Yeah. Psychopump work is helping souls that are stuck on this plane cross over. And this happened for me in the second direction, in the direction of the West. And again, in meditation, I would meet souls that were stuck on this plane. And I would travel with my guide to different places. I would travel to the Ukraine. I would travel to places that have been struck by earthquakes. And there would be souls there that didn't know what happened and they're stuck. They don't know how to progress. So I would interact with those souls, talk to them, share with them that I'm here to help, ask them if they want to transition because sometimes they don't, they're not ready. And I would call in the guides that I needed to help me and transition them. And I can't tell you how rewarding that is for me to do. But it's also challenging to explain to people because it's not anything I can validate. You know what I mean? But I love doing it.
and now how did that come about? You may have said before that, but how did you come about? How did you start that?
Yeah, in the direction of the West, that's where I learned how to do psychopump work. It's one of the skills in that specific direction. So the 4 directions that I go through, I learn skills in each one of those directions that I can then use as a practitioner. And in the direction of the South, I learn how to help people let go of things, help them shed things that are no longer needed. In the direction of the West, I learn how to interact with all of the things that are unseen. So that is spirit, that is energy from other realms. In the direction of the North, I learn how to help with ancestral healing. So if you, for example, if you have a health condition that is continually passed down through your family, let's say it is hypertension, for example, I learned a specific practice called an ancestral walk, where we can, again, go to meditation and kind of go back into the past to see where that originated. And that's also fascinating. And finally, the direction of the East. And that's all about having a higher perspective and shifting our perspective. So through each one of those 4 directions, I've been collecting tools that I can then put in my little tool belt to help others.
Nice, nice. So tell us a little bit, excuse me, about when you do a meditation, do you take them through some of this or is it just spontaneous? What exactly do you do in the 2 meditations that you do?
Sure. I focus on simple journeys. My goal for my meditation classes is to kind of foster a practice for people to begin their practice. If you notice, like all of the things that I talk about, my tools, they all begin with meditation and connecting with our guides and our spirit team. And my goal for my classes is to kind of give them a place to start. And then if they want to continue learning with me, we can always do that. I feel I'm working on a group class where I can help students kind of sort of follow the path that I've been on. But my individual bi-monthly classes are just kind of like, all right, let's start with the basics. I will guide you through this lesson and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Lori, let me just jump in here for a minute. The enthusiasm coming out of you, Lori, is so contagious, so rewarding to listen to you and to your enthusiasm and what you want to pass on to others. Tell us just a little bit about what you plan on doing with this event that we're going to have at the barn.
We're calling it the Lori and Lori event. Are you going to take somebody for 10 minutes or 15 minutes and walk them through this? Is this going to be a group type event? Tell us a little bit more about how you see the day going.
Sure. I feel like it's going to be a group, and I would love everyone to bring a journal and a yoga mat. And we will just arrange ourselves in the grass at your beautiful space. And I'd love to spend maybe 10, 15 minutes talking about animal guides and what I've learned from my animal guides and what they can teach, and the difference between a totem animal, a power animal, and a spirit animal. And then after that, I'd love to spend 15 minutes guiding the group through a shamanic journey meditation. So we will begin with being in a safe space, feeling grounded and balanced. And then I will guide everybody to their sacred space in the lower world where they will meet one of their spirit animals. And then I will bring everyone safely back to where we began our meditation, and we will talk about it. Only if you want to. There's never any pressure to share. I will have some books that people can use to kind of look and for reference points for what their animals might mean to them. And then hopefully they might even be able to connect to one of the crystals in the barn to take home and have that connection with crystal, animal, and meditation.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. It sounds really good. And just for everybody that's listening, we'll have information. It is going to be on June 22nd. Am I correct on that?
I think it's the 29th right now, Lori.
20
Yeah. And as long as both of you guys could make it that at 29th. Originally, we talked about the 22nd, yes.
But I'll have all that on here. So,
And it'll be on topic to topic, correct? And the podcast and Lori will be able to share this. But once again, Lori, I'm blown away. You guys know me, man. It's like you both, Lori and Lori, have been into this for a long period of time. I feel as though I'm just still a novice learning. And you and Lori, both of you guys, and people that have come and people I've met through you all, has been an awakening. And I think that's what we want to do. I know, Laura, both of you two are on this journey to awaken other people, to introduce them to the meditations and all these other things that are out there. I can't say enough about both of you. I swear to God. And this is just so unbelievable. I'm moved just listening to the enthusiasm and how cool this all is.
yeah, that's amazing. So, and Lori, tell us, just whatever, tell us more about what you plan in the future and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. My plans for the future, they always go crazy. I have 3 kids, and one of them is going to college in the fall. So I feel like my future is like all over the place. But in terms of my spiritual work, I would love to continue teaching meditation, helping foster that connection that people have with their selves with a capital S. I would love to grow my healing practice. That would be wonderful for me to be able to help more people. My healing practices are individualized. People can book an hour with me or 90 minutes, and I craft their time to what they need. And sometimes they just need someone to sit and listen. Sometimes they need some Reiki. Sometimes they need some shamanic healing. And in that practice, I go through all of their chakras, their auric field. I look for cords. I look for attachments. I look for tears in their auric field. And then I journey on their behalf to speak to their soul for some information. And when people need healing like that, it's typically when they can't figure out why they are having a physical injury or illness. They can't figure out why they can't move past something. It's not typically first line, right? I feel like shamanic healing is really helpful for someone who just cannot figure something out. Like, for example, my teacher shares a story about someone who is afraid of water, afraid of swimming. They've taken the lessons, they've taken first aid, they know there's no danger, but for some reason, they cannot figure out why they're still afraid of swimming. They come in for a shamanic healing, and the shaman sees that they've had something in a past life where there was something that had to do with drowning. And they were able to bring back that soul piece to the client, and they no longer have fear of swimming. That's where I feel like the shaman is really helpful, when there's just that hesitation or that misunderstanding, or I cannot put the puzzle pieces together. That's where I love stepping in to try to help. And I'd like to have more classes, more healings, and more collaborations, because looking for people, like-minded people like yourselves, to share this information, to let people know that, number one, they're not alone. Number two, they have a connection, they have answers inside them. And number three, if they don't know how to connect, then there's help out there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait for the 29th. That's June 2025. So if this is on the air for a long time, I'll also have your contact information on there so that anybody can get a hold of you. What do you, just one last thing before we wrap things up. What would you say to anybody that's interested in this but is unsure or just a little bit nervous maybe about this? It's real easy for people that are already into all of
Right.
this to be like, oh my gosh, but somebody that's maybe listening to it that's a little like, I want to do it, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. A couple of things come to mind. First is trust your gut. Trust your instinct, trust your intuition. You will know when you're ready to do something like this. If you are unsure where to start, if you think shamanic journey meditations are a little bit a step too far, I would suggest starting with short guided meditations, or a walking meditation, or a nature walk. The Insight Timer app is really good. They offer many different genres. The shamanic genre might not be for everyone, and that's okay. But you might discover that you like listening to binaural beats, where the sound is alternated on the different side of your head as you're listening to it. And you'll find that peace and calm in that way. Or finding a local Reiki practitioner and just trying that out. I guess what I'm saying is, it's worth a try, and just follow your intuition, and do what your soul is guiding you to do.
Well, that's good advice. That's good advice. So anybody that can make the June 29th at the barn, again, I'll have all the information on here. And in person would be amazing. And if you can't do that, maybe we can get some information out there when you start doing your
Yeah.
on air. So, all right. Well, listen, we're going to wrap things up. I wanted to thank Lori Knott for coming on and being here. Lou, do you have anything you have to say here in the last maybe couple seconds?
Oh, I'm just excited. I am just blown away with our first interview. Thank you, Lori Knott, for coming on. And thank you, Lori, for getting this off the ground again.
We're
Great work all together.
We're working on it. We're going to get it all done. Lori, thank you again. And we'll see you on the 29th.
Thank you.